Commander Elena Volkov ran her fingers across the ancient display case, leaving faint trails in the thin layer of dust. Within lay a tarnished officer's insignia, its once gleaming surface now dulled by centuries. The badge belonged to Captain Diana Reeves, last commanding officer of the TCS Prometheus. 200 years, Elena murmured. 200 years and still no answers. The military archives section of the Terran Confederation Memorial Hall stood empty at this late hour. Elena preferred it this way. The quiet allowed her to concentrate, to lose herself in the mysteries of humanity's past conflicts, and no mystery fascinated her more than the fate of the Prometheus. Her terminal chimed with an incoming transmission. Admiral Chen's stern face appeared on screen, its expression even grimmer than usual. "Commander Volkov, I need you at Central Command immediately. Priority Alpha." Elena frowned. "Sir, I'm in the middle of cataloging the hegemony has breached the Arcturus defense perimeter. New Eden colony has gone dark." The words struck Elena like a physical blow. New Eden housed over 2 million colonists. But that's impossible. Arcturus has our most advanced defense grid. Had, Chen corrected. Report in 30 minutes. Chen out. The screen went dark, leaving Elena standing in the dim light of the archives. Her eyes drifted back to the display case, to Captain Reeves' insignia. The Prometheus had been humanity's greatest warship, an experimental vessel so far beyond anything else in its time that it had seemed nearly mythical even before its disappearance. Now humanity faced a threat that made the wars of the past look like children's games. The situation room buzzed with frantic activity as senior officers pored over tactical displays. Admiral Chen stood at the center, his weathered face illuminated by the red glow of emergency lighting. The void hegemony vessels appear to use some form of gravitational manipulation technology, explained Science Director Quan. "Our weapons simply cannot penetrate their defensive fields." "And their weapons?" asked Chen. "Some form of matter disruption beam. Bypasses shields completely." The Arcturus fleet was atomized. Elena listened in growing horror as the briefing continued. The hegemony had appeared without warning 6 weeks ago at the edge of Terran space. Initial diplomatic communications had been brief and chilling. Humanity was deemed an aberration, a mistake in the cosmic order, and would be cleansed for the greater harmony of sentient species. 3 colony worlds were already gone. Billions dead. "Commander Volkov," Chen called suddenly, pulling her from her thoughts. "You're a military historian. Have we ever faced anything like this before?" Elena hesitated. "No, Admiral, not on this scale. The Krell War was our most devastating conflict, but even then we had technological parity. This," she gestured at the horrifying casualty figures, "this is extinction level. So we have nothing in our history that can help us." "I didn't say that, sir." Elena activated her datapad and brought up her research files. During the final days of the Krell War, we developed technologies that were theoretical breakthroughs. The culmination was the Prometheus project. Chen's eyes narrowed. "The ship that vanished." "Yes, sir. But before it disappeared, the Prometheus demonstrated capabilities that we still can't replicate today." "A 200-year-old ship won't save us, Commander." Elena swiped to a new screen on her pad. "Sir, for the past month, I've been detecting anomalous signals in the Charidis sector. Quantum fluctuations that match the theoretical signature of the Prometheus's drive system." The room fell silent. "Are you suggesting?" Chen began. "I'm suggesting, sir, that the Prometheus may not have been destroyed." Elena looked around at the desperate faces surrounding her. "And if I'm right, its technology might be our only hope against the hegemony." Chen stared at her for a long moment before turning to his communications officer. "Prepare a scout ship, priority clearance." He turned back to Elena. "You have 72 hours to find your ghost ship, Commander. After that, it won't matter. We'll all be joining the crew of the Prometheus in oblivion." The scout ship Herm shuddered as it approached the edge of the Charidis anomaly. Through the viewport, swirling clouds of iridescent gases obscured the stars, creating an ever-shifting maelstrom of light and shadow. "This is suicide," muttered Marcus Webb, his scarred hands gripping the navigation console. The veteran pilot had seen his share of dangerous missions, but this bordered on madness. No ship has ever returned from the anomaly. Dr. Sophia Reyes adjusted her instruments, dark eyes narrowed in concentration. "The gravitational forces should have crushed us already. Something's counteracting them." Elena watched the sensor readings with growing excitement. The quantum fluctuations were growing stronger. "Kaido, are you getting this?" Kaido Nakamura, the engineer who had volunteered despite his seniority, nodded enthusiastically. His fingers danced across his console, wild gray hair bobbing with each movement. "Fascinating. It's like the anomaly is breathing." A violent tremor rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed across every console. "Hull integrity at 60% and falling," reported Marcus. "We need to abort." Alina gripped the back of his chair. No, we're close. I can feel it. Commander, with all due respect, your feelings aren't going to. His words cut off as the Hermes lurched forward, caught in an invisible current. The engines screamed in protest as the ship accelerated toward the heart of the anomaly. We've lost control, shouted Marcus. No, corrected Kaido, staring at his readings in awe. Something's taken control. The view screen filled with blinding light, forcing them to shield their eyes. When they looked again, the chaos of the anomaly had vanished. The Hermes drifted in a perfect sphere of calm space, the stars visible once more beyond a faintly shimmering barrier. And there before them, impossibly massive against the backdrop of stars, floated a warship. My God, whispered Marcus. It's real. The vessel was a vision from another era, its angular hull marked with the scars of ancient battles yet unmistakably intact. The in-city of the Terran Confederation, an older version than the current design, was clearly visible on its flank, along with its designation, TCS Prometheus. It's beautiful, said Alina, tears forming in her eyes. 200 years of history, preserved like an insect in amber. Dr. Rees studied her scanner. I'm detecting a stable atmospheric envelope inside the ship, and life signs. Human life signs. Impossible, said Marcus. No one could have survived this long. Their comm system crackled to life. A woman's voice, clear and authoritative, filled the bridge. Unidentified vessel, this is Captain Diana Reeves of the Terran Confederation ship Prometheus. Identify yourself and state your intentions. Stunned silence fell over the crew. Captain Reeves had been listed as KIA over 2 centuries ago. Alina was the first to recover. This is Commander Elena Volkov of the Terran Confederation scout ship Hermes. We've been sent to investigate an anomalous signal. A pause. What year is it, Commander Volkov? Alina exchanged glances with her crew. It's 2437, Captain. Another, longer pause. I see. The voice betrayed no emotion. Prepare to be brought aboard. Our tractor beam will guide your vessel to docking bay 3. The transmission ended. This can't be happening, said Marcus. It's a trap. The hegemony doesn't use tractor beams, countered Kaido. And they certainly wouldn't know the name Diana Reeves. Alina felt the Hermes begin to move. Whatever's happening, we're about to find out. Through the viewport, a section of the Prometheus's hull slid open, revealing a cavernous docking bay illuminated by lights that had been cutting-edge technology 2 centuries earlier. As they approached, Alina spotted a reception committee waiting for them, a dozen figures in antiquated Terran uniforms, led by a woman whose face Alina had seen countless times in the archives. Captain Diana Reeves looked exactly as she did in her official portrait, not a day older than 35. How is this possible? Whispered Dr. Reyes. I don't know, replied Alina. But I have a feeling that whatever kept the Prometheus hidden all these years might be exactly what we need to save humanity. The corridors of the Prometheus were immaculate, showing none of the decay one would expect after 2 centuries. Elena followed Captain Reeves through the massive warship, noting how the crew they passed snapped to attention with military precision. None appeared older than their early 40s. I understand your confusion, Commander, said Reeves, leading them into a conference room. Holographic displays flickered to life around them, showing star charts and technical schematics. It's difficult to accept, even for us. How is this possible? Elena asked. By all accounts, the Prometheus was destroyed in the Battle of Procyon. Captain Reeves' expression tightened. We were winning that battle. The Krell fleet was on the verge of collapse when we engaged our experimental quantum drive to deliver the final strike. She manipulated the hologram, showing the Prometheus engaging a fleet of enemy vessels. But something went wrong. The drive created a temporal bubble within the Charybdis anomaly. A temporal bubble. Dr. Reyes leaned forward, fascinated. You've been experiencing time at a different rate. 20 years have passed for us, confirmed Reeves. While out there, she gestured vaguely toward the viewport, where stars shimmered beyond the anomaly's boundary. 212 years, finished Alina. A heavy silence fell over the room. Elena could see the weight of this reality in the captain's eyes, the comprehension that everyone they had ever known was long dead. Athena called Reeves. Situation report. A shimmering holographic figure appeared, a woman in classical Greek attire, her form composed of intricate lines of code that shifted and reorganized constantly. The temporal bubble has degraded to 18.7% stability, reported Athena, her voice melodious yet clearly artificial. Complete collapse estimated in 47 hours. External chronological alignment is now possible. Athena is your eye? Asked Kaido, unable to hide his excitement. Her architecture is unlike anything I'd ever seen. Athena was experimental when we launched, explained Reeves. Inside the temporal bubble, she's had the equivalent of thousands of years to evolve and improve herself. Alina felt a chill. You're saying your ship's AI has been thinking and developing for millennia? Reeves nodded. Athena is the reason we survived. She learned to manipulate the quantum field to sustain our pocket of spacetime. And she's been busy. The captain gestured to another hologram showing weapons and defense systems far beyond current Terran technology. These designs are theoretical at best, said Dr. Reyes, examining the schematics. Our scientists have proposed similar concepts, but the engineering challenges were insurmountable. Athena had time, replied Reeves simply. Marcus, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. My grandfather served in the fleet during the Krell War. He told stories about the Prometheus, said it was the most powerful ship ever built. His eyes met Reeves, said it could have changed everything. And now it can, said Alina. She activated her datapad, displaying footage of the hegemony attacks. Humanity is facing extinction, Captain. A species called the Void Hegemony has declared war on us, and their technology far exceeds our own. The crew watched in silence as colony after colony was reduced to ash by the alien weapons. Elena didn't need to elaborate. The scale of destruction was self-evident. How long do we have? Asked Reeves, her voice low. The defensive line at Proxima Centauri will fall within a week, Earth itself in less than a month. Captain Reeves exchanged glances with her officers. No words were needed. These were soldiers who had already sacrificed everything for humanity once before. Ediki, said Reeves, begin preparation for departure from the anomaly. Full combat readiness. Captain, interrupted Athena, departure will be irreversible. The quantum drive was damaged beyond repair during initial entry. This will be Prometheus's final voyage. Reeves nodded grimly. Understood. She turned to Alina. Commander Volkov, I'll need a complete tactical briefing on these hegemony forces. If we're going to die, we might as well make it count. We detected a hegemony scout fleet on our way in, Alina warned. They'll be waiting for us. A fierce smile crossed the captain's face, the expression of a warrior too long denied a worthy battle. Good. Let's show them what humanity is capable of. The Prometheus surged forward, bursting from the Charybdis anomaly in a blinding flash of quantum energy. On the bridge, Captain Reeves stood tall, her uniform pristine despite the violent transition. Athena, status report. All systems operational, Captain, replied the AI. 5 hegemony vessels detected. Configuration, scout class. They are moving to engage. Alina studied the tactical display. The alien ships were sleek obsidian constructs, their surfaces rippling with strange energies. Any one of them could have decimated a modern Terran battle cruiser. They've detected us, she reported. Weapons charging. Reeves nodded calmly. Athena, deploy quantum shields. Weapons to stand by, but do not fire until my command. The hegemony ships are transmitting, said the communications officer. Audio only. Let's hear it, ordered Reeves. A harsh, rasping voice filled the bridge. Aberrant human vessel. Your existence offends the natural order. Prepare for cleansing. Reeves raised an eyebrow. Charming. The lead hegemony ship fired, a beam of crackling violet energy lancing toward the Prometheus. It struck the ancient warship's shields and dissipated completely, leaving no trace of impact. Stunned silence fell over the bridge, broken only by Kaido's whispered, impossible. Athena, Reeves prompted. Quantum shield functioning at optimal levels. The hegemony weapon utilizes a matter disruption field that cannot penetrate our defensive matrix. The hegemony ships fired again, all 5 simultaneously. The results were identical. Their fearsome weapons, which had annihilated entire Terran fleets, proved utterly ineffective. They're adjusting their attack pattern, said Alina, watching the tactical display. Attempting to surround us. Captain Reeves smiled thinly. Athena, target the 3 lead vessels. Precision strikes only. Leave the 4th intact enough for capture. And the 5th, asked Alina. We let it go, said Reeves, meeting her gaze. Someone needs to carry the message. The Prometheus's weapons ports opened, revealing systems that bore little resemblance to standard Terran armaments. Beams of concentrated light, too bright to look at directly, lanced out. Where they touched, the hegemony ships simply ceased to exist, not exploding or breaking apart, but dissolving into constituent atoms. 3 ships gone in less than 5 seconds. The 4th hegemony vessel found itself caught in a shimmering tractor field, immobilized. The 5th, witnessing the fate of its companions, executed an emergency jump, disappearing into faster-than-light travel. Target has flood, Captain, reported Athena. Based on vector analysis, it is returning to hegemony command. Good, said Reeves. She turned to Alina. Now we head to Terran space. Your people should know help has arrived. Admiral Chen's face on the viewscreen cycled through disbelief, shock, and finally cautious hope as Alina explained the situation. This is the actual Prometheus, the same ship that vanished 2 centuries ago. The very same Admiral, confirmed Alina, and its technology is far beyond what the historical records suggested. Chen's eyes narrowed. How do we know this isn't some hegemony trick? Captain Reeves stepped into view. Admiral Chen, I understand your skepticism. Athena is transmitting technical specifications for immediate upgrades to your current fleet. These modifications won't match the Prometheus's capabilities, but they'll give you a fighting chance. The hegemony vessel we captured has yielded valuable intelligence, added Alina. They're not as numerous as we feared. They've been relying on their technological edge to create an impression of invincibility. Chen studied something off-screen, presumably the technical data. His expression slowly transformed. This could work, he admitted, but upgrading the fleet will take time. Meanwhile, the hegemony advance continues. The Prometheus will buy you that time, said Reeves firmly. We'll strike their forward command center, disrupt their communications, destroy their supply lines. Chen hesitated, then nodded. Very well. I'm transmitting coordinates for rendezvous with our remaining battle groups. One more thing, Admiral, said Alina. I'd like to formally request assignment as Captain Reeves' executive officer for this mission. Chen raised an eyebrow. You're an archivist, commander, not a combat officer. With respect, sir, I know more about current Terran military capabilities than anyone on the Prometheus. They need me. After a moment's consideration, Chen nodded. Request granted. Good hunting, Commander. To all of you. His gaze shifted to include the Prometheus crew. It seems humanity has been given a second chance. The Prometheus led a small battle group of 6 upgraded Terran vessels through the silent void. Their target, the massive hegemony command station anchoring the invasion fleet. Intelligence from the captured scout ship had confirmed it coordinated all hegemony operations in human space. On the bridge, Alina stood beside Captain Reeves, studying the holographic display of their approach vector. HFY has successfully masked our quantum signatures, Alina reported. The hegemony sensors show only background radiation. Reeves nodded, her expression grim. Status of the Terran vessels. Holding formation, Captain. The modifications are functioning better than expected. Their shield generators are stable at 72% of Prometheus capacity. It had been a frantic week. The Prometheus' engineers working around the clock to retrofit the surviving Terran ships with scaled-down versions of their quantum technology. Not as advanced as the systems HFY had perfected over centuries, but far beyond anything humanity currently possessed. We're approaching sensor range of the command station, announced the tactical officer. The holographic display shifted, revealing your target. Unlike the sleek scout ships, the command station was a monstrous construct of dark metal and crackling energy fields. Dozens of hegemony vessels surrounded it in defensive formation. It's massive, whispered Alina. Size isn't everything, replied Reeves with a tight smile. HFY, commence Phase 1. Initiating precision strikes, confirmed the AI. The Prometheus fired not at the station itself, but at specific points in space around it. Each shot detonated in a silent flash, creating a lattice of quantum disruption fields. Communications blackout established, reported HFY. The station is cut off from its fleet. Reeves turned to Alina. Time for your contribution, Commander. Alina nodded and stepped forward. During their preparations, she had worked with HFY to craft a message using linguistic patterns analyzed from the captured hegemony vessel. Broadcasting now, she said, activating the transmission. Throughout the hegemony fleet, a message played in their own language. Attention, void hegemony forces. The species you deemed unworthy has reclaimed technologies beyond your comprehension. We do not seek your extinction, only peaceful coexistence. Withdraw from human space or face technological superiority that renders your advantages obsolete. Accompanying the message were detailed scans proving the Prometheus's capabilities, along with evidence that this technology was being distributed to all human vessels. The hegemony command station's response was immediate and violent. Its weapons ports blazed to life, unleashing devastating energy toward the Prometheus. Evasive maneuvers, ordered Reeves. The ancient warship slipped through space with impossible grace, quantum shields flaring where they couldn't completely avoid the barrage. Return fire from the Prometheus disabled rather than destroyed, systematically neutralizing the station's offensive capabilities. They're scrambling their elite warships, reported Alina, watching 5 massive vessels break formation and accelerate toward them. As expected, said Reeves calmly. All Terran vessels execute pattern Delta. Draw them away from the station. The battle split, the upgraded Terran ships engaging the hegemony escorts while the Prometheus pressed toward the command station. The space between them became a chaotic dance of energy weapons and quantum fields. A violent impact rocked the bridge as a hegemony blast finally penetrated their defenses. Warning lights flashed across every console. Port shield generators damaged, reported HFY, rerouting power. Another hit sent sparks cascading from an overhead conduit. A crew member fell severely wounded. Dr. Reyes rushed to assist. Weapon systems overheating, called the tactical officer. We can't maintain this level of output. The massive Hegemony flagship suddenly appeared directly before them, having executed a micro-jump to bypass their defenses. It loomed like a predator, weapons charging for what would surely be a devastating strike. Shields failing, announced Athena, her holographic form flickering. Direct hit imminent. Marcus Webb, who had been quietly observing from his station, suddenly straightened. Captain, my grandfather told stories about the Prometheus. He mentioned something called quantum phasing. Athena? Reeves questioned sharply. The air's form stabilized. Theoretical application possible. Reconfiguring damaged quantum drive elements can create localized temporal distortion. Success probability, 37.2%. Do it, ordered Reeves without hesitation. As the Hegemony flagship fired, the Prometheus shimmered, its outline becoming indistinct, seemingly existing in multiple locations simultaneously. The enemy weapons passed through empty space where the ship had appeared to be. For a crucial moment, the Hegemony targeting systems faltered, unable to lock onto the temporally phased vessel. It was all the opening they needed. 3 months after the Battle of Hegemony Command Center, Elena stood at the observation deck of Terran Central Command, watching as representatives of the Void Hegemony approached under escort. The diplomatic vessel, once intimidating in its alien design, now seemed merely foreign rather than threatening. Never thought I'd see this day, said Admiral Chen, joining her at the viewport. The Hegemony, coming to us for peace talks. They're pragmatists, replied Elena. Once we demonstrated technological parity, continued conflict became illogical. The decisive battle had ended with Hegemony flagship crippled and the command station's leadership captured. With their coordination network disrupted and faced with weapons that could counter their own, the Hegemony forces had begun a strategic withdrawal from human space. Where is the Prometheus now? Asked Chen quietly. Elena's expression tightened. Holding position beyond Jupiter. Athena calculates the quantum core will destabilize completely within days. The damage sustained during a final battle, combined with the strain of the temporal phasing maneuver, had accelerated the deterioration of the ship's systems. There would be no saving the legendary vessel. Captain Reeves has made her decision then. Elena nodded. The crew voted unanimously. They'll take the Prometheus beyond the galactic rim for the final journey. It was a fitting end. Rather than allow their ship to become a laboratory specimen or museum piece, the crew, people who had already sacrificed everything once for humanity, would make one final voyage into the unknown. The farewell ceremony was brief but solemn. The Prometheus, flanked by an honored guard of Terran vessels, prepared to depart the solar system. Its hull, scarred from ancient battles and recent victories, gleamed in the distant sunlight. Elena stood on the bridge beside Captain Reeves as the final preparations were made. Around them, the original crew manned their stations with quiet dignity. They had accomplished their mission. Humanity would survive. Athena's database transfer is complete, reported Kaido from engineering. All technological specifications have been successfully transmitted to the Confederation. Reeves nodded. Thank you, Mr. Nakamura. She turned to Elena. It's time, Commander. The escort vessels are waiting for your departure. Elena straightened. With respect, Captain, I'd like to request permission to remain aboard. Reeves raised an eyebrow. This is a one-way journey, Commander. There will be no return. I understand that, Elena replied firmly. But someone needs to document this final voyage. For 200 years, the Prometheus was a legend. Now it deserves to have its true story told. After a moment, Reeves smiled and extended her hand. Permission granted, Commander. Or should I say, ship's historian? As the Prometheus broke orbit from Jupiter, a message arrived from Admiral Chen. On behalf of humanity, we extend our eternal gratitude. Your sacrifice will never be forgotten. Godspeed, Prometheus. Captain Reeves ordered the message displayed on the main view screen for all to see. Then she turned to her crew. Set course beyond the galactic rim, maximum sustainable speed. Let's see what's out there. Weeks later, as the Prometheus approached the boundary of the Milky Way, Elena completed her final historical log. Around her, the ship's systems were failing gradually, the quantum core's instability growing. Yet the crew maintained their discipline, facing the end with the same courage they had shown in battle. The vast emptiness beyond the galaxy stretched before them, uncharted and unknown. Captain Reeves gathered the crew for a final address transmitted to the distant Terran worlds they had saved. We were forgotten once, but returned when humanity needed us most, she said, her voice clear and strong despite the occasional static. We go now to our final rest, but our legacy lives on in the technologies we've shared and the future we've secured. Remember us not as legends, but as people who did their duty across the span of time itself. As the transmission ended, Alina added her own brief message. Humanity endures. The Prometheus crossed the galactic boundary, its quantum signature flickering on long-range sensors before disappearing into the darkness beyond. But in the decades that followed, occasional ghostly readings would appear in the void, echoes of the legendary ship that had returned from the past to ensure humanity's future. In the rebuilt colonies and on Earth itself, children were named Diana, Alina, and Prometheus. Ships bearing the names of the ancient warship's crew ventured into uncharted regions, carrying with them the most important lesson from humanity's darkest hour, that their greatest strength lay not in weapons or technology, but in the willingness to sacrifice everything for a future they might never see.